You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom. I saw like his hand shaking a bit.
Another significant element in this case involves the private gatherings often referred to as freak-offs. These events have been brought up multiple times in court testimony, particularly by Cassie Ventura. She described them as elaborate and disturbing parties where sexual boundaries were allegedly crossed and consent was often unclear or outright ignored. In her own words, Cassie stated she felt like a sex worker during these events, an assertion that was so controversial it was eventually stricken from the official court record. Still, the mere mention of these gatherings has sparked renewed scrutiny into the culture surrounding Diddy and the high-profile figures allegedly involved in these activities. These freak-offs weren't just wild celebrity parties. They were reportedly orchestrated affairs that involved coercion, control, and psychological manipulation. Cassie's testimony painted a picture of these events being less about consensual fun and more about domination, humiliation, and submission. According to her statements, Diddy would force her to engage in acts with others while he watched or recorded. If accurate, this adds a terrifying layer to the accusations, not just intimate partner abuse, but the construction of a whole ecosystem of exploitation behind closed doors. Interestingly, the alleged memoir attributed to Kim Porter echoes these claims. Though the book's authenticity remains under fierce debate, it reportedly describes similar experiences, portraying Diddy's parties as exclusive yet troubling events. The memoir suggests that these gatherings were shrouded in secrecy, populated by celebrities and insiders who were either participants or passive observers. One of the more shocking claims from the memoir includes Porter's alleged interactions with a well-known, married female celebrity at one of these parties, implying that even high-profile guests were not immune to the environment Diddy allegedly created. The narrative becomes even more tangled when financial settlements are considered. Cassie Ventura reached a civil settlement with Diddy for $20 million, a figure that suggests the gravity of her claims and possibly the desire to keep certain facts out of a drawn-out trial. Additionally, she reportedly received another $10 million in a separate settlement from the hotel where some of the abuse occurred. These large sums hint at the potential legal exposure Diddy and other institutions faced and may also indicate the extent to which parties were willing to pay to prevent more damning revelations from becoming public. It's important to understand that these aren't isolated claims. The accusations made by Cassie are echoed by others who've worked with or been close to Diddy. Don Richard, a former Danity Kane member, testified that Diddy once threatened to make her disappear after she witnessed him physically attacking Cassie. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mother, also provided harrowing testimony. She recounted being physically sick with fear over the threats made against her daughter and spoke of bruises she documented, injuries allegedly sustained during violent outbursts by Diddy. All of this forms a chilling mosaic of control, intimidation, and harm. So how does this all connect back to Kim Porter? The thread that binds these stories together is a disturbing pattern. Multiple women, some romantically involved with Diddy and others professionally tied to him, describe eerily similar dynamics, control, surveillance, physical violence, and coercion. Allegations about Porter discovering incriminating videotapes, suffering abuse at the hands of Diddy, and even wiretaps placed on her phone reinforce the image of a man who went to extreme lengths to dominate the women in his life and keep secrets under lock and key. And let's not forget the claims about missing electronic devices and a mysteriously quick burial. Former bodyguard Gene Deal raised red flags over the speed with which a gold casket was ordered, reportedly months before Porter's death. Al B. Schur, Porter's ex and father of her son Quincy, has openly suggested foul play, even requesting a formal investigation into those who worked around Porter at the time of her death. He accused these individuals of stealing her computer and phone, which he says contained the original notes for her memoir. If true, this would imply that someone may have gone to great lengths to erase her side of the story before it could ever be told. Despite these alarming allegations, Porter's children have consistently denied that any foul play was involved in their mother's death. They maintain that her passing from lobar pneumonia was natural and caution against giving credibility to rumors or unofficial publications. This introduces a deeply emotional and complicated layer to the narrative. Children who lost their mother and are now caught between honoring her memory and defending the man who helped raise them, yet is also the subject of multiple disturbing allegations. In the broader context of Diddy's current legal battles, spanning charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy, the claims surrounding Kim Porter's death take on new significance. If the prosecution can establish a pattern of predatory behavior going back years, then the circumstances of Porter's death could be revisited not just by public opinion, but potentially through formal investigation. What was once ruled as natural causes may not remain so unquestioned. Ultimately, the court will have to weigh evidence, testimony, and credibility. But what's already clear is that this case isn't just about one man's actions. It's about a system of silence, intimidation, and unchecked power in the entertainment industry, one that may finally be unraveling. The multi-million-dollar settlements linked to Diddy's past, particularly the reported payouts stemming from the 2016 assault allegations, represent staggering sums of money. These aren't small settlements. They're the kind of financial agreements that the average person could never imagine earning in a lifetime. The sheer scale of these payoffs raises disturbing questions. How many more incidents might Diddy have attempted to conceal using his wealth? And how often has that same wealth enabled him to avoid accountability? But this time, the tide may be turning. Despite Diddy's vast financial resources and network of influence, mounting evidence suggests that his money won't be enough to shield him from justice. In fact, some insiders allege that powerful figures, people with even greater influence and deeper pockets, are now working against him. These are not just business adversaries, they're individuals with personal scores to settle, and they may be orchestrating his legal downfall with precision and purpose. This unraveling of one of hip-hop's most powerful moguls also casts a harsh light on the entertainment industry itself. For decades, Hollywood and the music business have been complicit in enabling the misconduct of powerful men. We saw it with Harvey Weinstein, we saw it with R. Kelly, and now we're seeing it with Sean Diddy Combs. Fame, fortune, and connections often create an impenetrable armor, one that silences victims, shields abusers, and upholds the illusion of perfection. In Diddy's case, his empire extended far beyond music. He was embedded in the worlds of fashion, liquor, television, and even politics. He surrounded himself with celebrities, billionaires, and influential media executives, people with much to gain by staying silent. If you were a young artist trying to break into the industry and you witnessed something disturbing, who would you turn to? The label executives that are in business with him? The journalists who rely on access to his parties and events? The celebrities who owe him favors? The system is designed to protect the powerful, not the vulnerable. A potential turning point in this saga came in May 2023, when Diddy filed a high-profile lawsuit against Diageo, one of the largest liquor companies in the world. He accused them of racial discrimination, claiming they intentionally undermined his Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila brands by refusing to market them fairly or distribute them in majority Black neighborhoods. The lawsuit sparked public interest, but also tension. Just 1 month later, in June 2023, Diageo abruptly ended their 15-year partnership with Diddy, citing his bad faith actions. By October 2023, Diddy had filed a second lawsuit, this time alleging unlawful retaliation and corporate sabotage. But in January 2024, everything changed. Diddy and Diageo announced a confidential settlement, with both parties withdrawing all claims. While this appeared to close one chapter, others believe it opened a far more dangerous one. According to 50 Cent, rapper, entrepreneur, and longtime critic of Diddy, this legal battle may have triggered the unraveling of Diddy's protective alliances. On the Earn Your Leisure podcast, 50 Cent suggested that challenging a company as powerful as Diageo may have been a grave miscalculation. "It's not so cool when you start to own things," he said, hinting that Diddy's ambition disrupted the power structure. "When you see him go at Diageo is when you see him start to have problems." He implied that Diddy had upset powerful people who once protected him, and once that protection was gone, everything fell apart. "Don't think that a civil case can't turn criminal fast," 50 warned, "especially when you're making them uncomfortable." This theory, that Diddy poked a bear that ultimately turned on him, frames his downfall as less of a coincidence and more of a reckoning. And others have been echoing similar sentiments for years, including Jaguar Wright, a former music industry insider and outspoken critic. Wright has openly questioned the string of mysterious deaths surrounding Diddy, naming Heavy D, Andre Harrell and Kim Porter as examples. "The only two left are Puffy and Al," she said in an explosive 2022 interview. "And Al almost died. Ain't that interesting?" Wright further alleged that both Heavy D and Harrell were working on memoirs before their sudden deaths, both reportedly from heart attacks. Al B. Sure also allegedly went into a coma while working on a book, though he survived. And Kim Porter? According to various reports, she too may have been preparing to release a memoir before her sudden death in 2018. If true, it raises unsettling questions about whether these were coincidences, or if people who attempted to tell their stories faced deadly consequences. The rumors surrounding Kim Porter's death continue to swirl, particularly in light of new details allegedly from a memoir draft she was working on. According to the leaked contents, Porter claimed she endured physical abuse at the hands of Diddy, describing multiple violent encounters, one in which he slammed her to the floor and threatened her with a weapon. She also recounted a bizarre incident where she caught Diddy exiting a room with a famous rapper and the wife of another celebrity. "You're mine, you don't have a choice in that. I can't live without you," Diddy allegedly said to her. If these accounts are even partially true, they suggest that Porter was not just a former partner, but a potential whistleblower, someone who knew too much and may have been planning to expose it. Her death, then, cannot be separated from the broader narrative of power, abuse, and silence that has defined Diddy's career. Fast forward to September 2024. Diddy is arrested and incarcerated at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, facing charges including racketeering, conspiracy, and exploitation. This facility, known for housing figures like Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly, is notorious for its harsh conditions, unsanitary environments, rampant violence, and understaffing. Diddy, once at the height of luxury, is now reportedly on suicide watch, isolated for his safety, and struggling to adapt to prison life. His legal team's attempts to secure a $50 million bond, backed by properties owned by him and his mother, were denied by U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tanowski. Prosecutors, led by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, argued that Diddy posed a risk to the community, citing potential witness intimidation, substance abuse, and a history of anger issues. The depth of the case against him includes electronic evidence, testimonies from dozens of victims, and links to a broader criminal network. Despite the visible support from his family, who filled rows in the Manhattan courthouse and stood by him emotionally, Diddy's future remains uncertain. His celebrity status, once a shield, has now become a spotlight exposing years of alleged abuse, control, and manipulation. What we're witnessing may not just be the fall of a hip-hop mogul, it could be a landmark reckoning for the entertainment industry itself. Mounting federal pressure and political fallout. The investigation into political misconduct linked to Turkey intensified in late 2023, when federal agents began seizing electronic devices from key members of New York Mayor Eric Adams' administration. One of the most high-profile seizures was from his chief fundraiser, Brianna Suggs. The situation escalated dramatically on September 26, 2024, when federal investigators executed a search warrant at Gracie Mansion, the official residence of the mayor. This move sent shockwaves through the political sphere and marked a pivotal moment in the ongoing probe. Amid these controversies, Mayor Adams found himself in the national spotlight just as hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested on serious allegations. The timing led to speculation about possible links between the two high-profile figures. The intrigue deepened further when several members of Adams' inner circle, including his deputy mayor, abruptly resigned, fueling conspiracy theories and media speculation. Resurfacing of the Tupac Shakur murder case. One of the most explosive developments since Diddy's arrest has been the renewed focus on his alleged connection to the 1996 murder of rap icon Tupac Shakur. Reopening such a high-profile intoxicating and complex case involves navigating a labyrinth of legal, forensic, and historical hurdles. Tupac's family has taken a bold step by hiring prominent attorney Alex Spiro, a legal powerhouse known for his involvement in celebrity litigation and his dogged pursuit of justice. Spiro is now tasked with re-examining years-old evidence, digging into witness testimonies, and uncovering new leads, many of which hinge on the explosive allegation that Diddy once offered Dwayne Keefe D. Davis $1 million to carry out a hit on Tupac. If this claim is substantiated, it could radically alter the long-standing narrative surrounding Tupac's murder and implicate major figures in the hip-hop industry. The shocking allegations of Lil Rod Jones. One of the most disturbing cases tied to Diddy comes from Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a music producer who filed a detailed 100-page lawsuit accusing Diddy of a wide array of criminal acts. The lawsuit includes allegations of grooming, drug trafficking, sexual exploitation, and misconduct involving numerous high-profile individuals. According to the lawsuit, Lil Rod was approached by Diddy in August 2022 to work on his long-awaited album, The Love Album, Off the Grid. What seemed like a dream opportunity quickly turned into a harrowing experience. Rod claims that he was required to live with Diddy for over a year, from September 2022 to November 2023, during which he allegedly missed birthdays, holidays, and key moments with family. But personal sacrifice was just the beginning. The lawsuit details chilling accounts of being subjected to drug-fueled environments, manipulation, and being witness to, or a victim of, acts ranging from sexual coercion to criminal conspiracy. Alarmingly, several celebrities are named in the lawsuit, including Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr., who Rod claims was involved in inappropriate conduct. Cuba Gooding Jr. and Pastor T.D. Jakes pulled into scandal. Cuba Gooding Jr., already embroiled in multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, has publicly dismissed the lawsuit's claims as ridiculous. However, photos included in court filings show a man strongly resembling Gooding Jr. appearing intimate with Lil Rod, challenging the actor's denial and deepening the controversy. Another figure ensnared in the scandal is world-renowned pastor, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Though not accused of any crimes directly, the lawsuit mentions him as part of Diddy's circle, reportedly used to mitigate the fallout from the Cassie Ventura lawsuit. A 2022 video even shows Jakes at Diddy's 53rd birthday party, an event that, like many of Diddy's infamous gatherings, was reportedly rife with freak-off behavior involving drugs and sexual exploitation. Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Diddy, has openly described these parties as wild affairs involving group sex and open drug use, events where the most outrageous behaviors were once hidden behind closed doors, but now occur openly. His comments suggest that anyone present, including Jakes, would likely have witnessed questionable conduct. The freak-offs, Meek Mill, and other celebrities, Diddy's so-called freak-offs, decadent parties allegedly involving coerced sexual acts, often homosexual in nature, have been at the center of multiple lawsuits. In a leaked clip from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian openly admits to attending one such party, describing it as half-naked and wild. The clip, filmed in 2014, has gone viral again, reinforcing widespread beliefs that these parties were anything but ordinary. Since Lil Rod's lawsuit surfaced in February, the hip-hop community has been buzzing with speculation over the redacted names in the legal filings. Many believe Meek Mill is one of those names. Fueling the speculation is a leaked audio recording, allegedly of a sexual encounter between Diddy and Meek, which Meek has vehemently denied. He addressed the rumors on social media, stating, "It's not a coincidence we all gay and snitches," suggesting the rumors are a form of character assassination. The disturbing incident involving Young Miami's cousin. Lil Rod's lawsuit also includes a disturbing account involving Young Miami's cousin, who allegedly sexually assaulted him during a studio session on November 23, 2022. Rod states that he went to the restroom to escape an increasingly chaotic environment, only to be followed by the woman, an assistant to Young Miami, who began groping him without consent. According to the lawsuit, she attempted to perform oral sex on him, and later tried to straddle him in front of Diddy and his staff. Rod believes Diddy orchestrated the encounter, adding a sinister dimension to the already troubling narrative. Though these allegations have yet to be resolved in court, they point to a deeply toxic and dangerous environment behind the glitz of Diddy's music empire. Silence and suspicion. Jason Lee, Jay-Z, and T.D. Jakes entertainment journalist Jason Lee made headlines with his revelation about witnessing a private gathering at Diddy's home that included Jay-Z and Bishop T.D. Jakes. While he claimed nothing unusual happened, the presence of these influential figures at Diddy's residence, now under scrutiny for being a hub of criminal activity, raises eyebrows. Since Diddy's arrest, both Jay-Z and Bishop Jakes have remained conspicuously silent, a silence many interpret as calculated or complicit. What's next for Diddy? Despite the growing number of lawsuits, accusations, and public scrutiny, it remains, uncertain whether Sean Diddy Combs will face jail time or manage to evade justice through settlements and legal maneuvering. While he chose to settle out of court with Cassie Ventura, the mounting allegations, from sexual misconduct to potential involvement in Tupac Shakur's murder, may prove too substantial to escape. As the lawsuits develop and the federal investigation intensifies, the entertainment world watches closely. What began as whispers behind closed doors has become a cultural reckoning, one that could alter the legacies of not just Diddy, but everyone entangled in his orbit.